Michelle Williams walked into Destiny's Child success, but the spotlight wasn't always kind to her. What really happened behind the scenes of this iconic trio? Michelle admits she was struggling with depression even during the group's massive hits and worldwide tours. Despite the apparent glamour, she felt like she was in a pit she couldn't escape, weighed down by the pressure and criticism only a star at that level can understand. Her manager tried to cheer her up, pointing to the group's bright future, but Michelle's reality was far from that bright light. The complex reality of success. Michelle Williams admitted to struggling with depression during the peak of Destiny's Child's fame, despite the massive success, signing huge deals, and touring worldwide. She felt trapped in a heavy pit, weighed down by criticism and a sense of not belonging. Her manager urged her to focus on the bright side, but Michelle's inner battle was far from over. On the surface, it looked like she had everything: the fame, the money, the fans. But beneath it all, Michelle was fighting a silent war. The pressure to keep up with the group's fast-paced success, while never quite fitting into the mold set by Beyoncé and Kelly, left her feeling isolated. Even as the group climbed the charts, Michelle's mental health took a backseat. Her cries for help were often overlooked, with management dismissing her feelings, insisting she had nothing to be down about. This contrast between public triumph and private struggle reveals a complex reality many celebrities face. Success can be a cage, where the weight of expectation suffocates even the brightest stars. Michelle's story reminds us that fame doesn't shield anyone from pain. Sometimes, it makes it worse. But her journey also shows the courage to confront those shadows, speaking out despite the stigma. In a world fascinated by celebrity glamour, the untold stories of struggle offer a more human, more relatable perspective on what it really means to be successful. The unseen struggles within Destiny's Child. Destiny's Child was both a blessing and a curse for Michelle Williams. On one hand, she was part of this mega successful group, walking into #1 hits and worldwide fame. But on the other hand, she was never the favorite for anything. Fans always perceived and treated her like she was the least talented in the group. Even the management of the group would always tell her how lucky she was to be there and that thousands of people were vying for her spot. They expected her to happily stay in the background, as Beyoncé and Kelly got all of the spotlight while she faced criticism over every little thing. Michelle opened up about her insecurities regarding her singing voice, admitting that she knew she wasn't the vocal favorite of Destiny's Child. It's not that she second-guessed herself, but she was simply aware that she wasn't everyone's favorite. This awareness stuck with her, affecting how she viewed her role within the group. Even now, fans won't leave her alone, often pushing the narrative that she was the weaker link, which only added to her struggles. Michelle has spoken candidly about how she was pushed to the background frequently, just so Beyoncé and Kelly could shine. This dynamic created a challenging atmosphere for her, where she had to balance loyalty to the group while battling feelings of being overlooked. Behind the scenes, Destiny's Child was not just about hits and glamour. There was tension and emotional hardship that the public rarely saw. Michelle's experience highlights the delicate balance between fame and personal struggle in a high-profile group. Michelle's musical roots and entry into Destiny's Child. Michelle Williams had a very strong musical background, and she started singing at church when she was just 7 years old. As she grew up, she continued to develop her tone, delivery, and technique based on what she picked up singing at church. When you listen to songs from Destiny's Child, you can really hear that gospel influence is still going strong in the way she delivers her vocals. Initially, Michelle didn't see music as something she wanted to do full-time. So, she enrolled in Louisiana State University to study criminal justice. But 2 years in, she decided that wasn't for her, and she was going to try her hand at music instead. She started working in clubs and got the opportunity to sing background for Monica. It was during her stint with Monica that she was introduced to Destiny's Child. Talk about being in the right place at the right time, Child. At that time, Destiny's Child was going through a lot of internal tension because of creative and management differences among the members. Originally, the group included Beyoncé Knowles, Kelly Rowland, LaToya Luckett, and Latavia Robertson. As LaToya and Latavia were original members, fans got to know and grow with them. But as the group started to gain more chart success, things started to grow sideways. LaToya and Latavia wanted to move away from the group's manager, Matthew Knowles, due to allegations that he kept a large share of the group's profits and unfairly favored Beyoncé and Kelly. When they decided to leave Destiny's Child, questions arose about the new members and how the group dynamic would change. Michelle had already encountered Beyoncé and Kelly in the lobby of an Atlanta hotel in late 1990, but nothing happened then. The following year, Beyoncé asked around for someone who could sing, and an acquaintance suggested Michelle. So, Michelle officially joined Destiny's Child, along with Farrah Franklin, replacing the two original members. However, Farrah's time was short-lived, and she faded from promotions, making Destiny's Child a solid trio with Beyoncé, Kelly, and Michelle. Michelle joined Destiny's Child amid drama and shakeups, and fans didn't know much about her back then. She didn't come from the Matthew Knowles school of singing and dancing like Beyoncé and Kelly. She was also just finding her feet in the music industry, fitting in and finding her place. Joining an established group meant Michelle had to quickly adapt. Unlike Beyoncé and Kelly, who'd been groomed from childhood, Michelle was learning as she went, stepping in to fill bridges and support vocals rather than shine in the spotlight. She wasn't just filling space. She was the glue that held the trio's sound together. Even if public recognition lagged, when Michelle stepped into Destiny's Child, the group was already a moving train, and she had to learn fast. She had less training and media experience compared to Beyoncé and Kelly, but she embraced her role as the team player, always asking, "What do y'all need me to do?" She wasn't there to compete. She was there to help the group win. Despite joining amid drama and lineup changes, Michelle built a strong work relationship with Beyoncé and Kelly, which grew into a sisterhood over time. The trio released Independent Women Part 1 as part of the Charlie's Angels soundtrack, which established Destiny's Child as a solid trio. Michelle delivered her parts diligently, finding her own rhythm within the group's dynamic. However, fans and critics weren't always kind, sometimes seeing her as the least favored member. But Michelle kept her head down and worked hard, showing resilience despite the challenges. She had to learn not just the songs, but also the choreography and stage presence quickly, all while facing a loyal fan base that was adjusting to the new lineup. Her journey in Destiny's Child was one of constant growth and adaptation, proving that fitting in is sometimes about perseverance and dedication, rather than just talent alone. The spotlight's double-edged sword. While Michelle played a vital role in hits like Independent Woman and the album Survivor, public and media scrutiny often pointed out her flaws instead of her strengths. From awkward dancing to voice comparisons, Michelle faced relentless criticism that took a toll on her confidence, making her mental health struggles even harder. Being in the group also boxed her in. Most of the time, she was singing bridges, ad-libs, or background vocals. The assumption was that she was given those parts because she was no match for Beyoncé and Kelly. This, however, ignored the fact that Michelle was often the glue that held their songs together, delivering the crucial vocal bridges that made their hits unforgettable. On top of that, the group's fans, still reeling from the departure of original members Latavia and LaToya, sometimes directed their frustrations unfairly toward Michelle, although she had no part in those shakeups. All this criticism began to weigh heavily on her. She told manager Matthew that she might be depressed and needed a break, but he brushed her off, saying she had nothing to be sad about when the group was achieving huge success and making tons of money. This dismissal left Michelle isolated, struggling quietly while the spotlight shone brightly on Beyoncé and Kelly. The reality was, being in one of the biggest girl groups in the world came with immense pressure, not just to perform, but to fit a certain image and expectation. Michelle's less polished dancing and different vocal style were unfairly magnified. She wasn't just competing with others, but with the harsh expectations of a million eyes. Yet, what many failed to see was Michelle's resilience and hard work behind the scenes, learning quickly and always ready to deliver. Despite all the negativity, she kept pushing forward, carving her own space within the towering success of Destiny's Child, breaking out solo and owning her sound. Michelle was the first Destiny's Child member to launch a solo career, choosing gospel music as her path. This decision allowed her to build a dedicated fan base and shine on her own terms, far from the spotlight that often dimmed her light in the group. Her album journey to freedom marked a significant comeback, debuting at number 29 on the Billboard 200s and featuring the standout track Say Yes, which included Beyoncé and Kelly's voices, reminding fans that the trio's bond was still strong. This song became one of her best-known hits, proving that she could hold her own and create music that resonated deeply with listeners. Michelle's solo journey wasn't just about success. It was about reclaiming her identity and showing the world her true voice, the one formed from years of gospel influence and heartfelt passion. Gospel gave her the freedom to express herself fully, and that authenticity brought her back into the limelight. Unlike her time in the group, where she often sang bridges or background vocals, solo work let Michelle take center stage and connect directly with her audience. This transition wasn't always easy, but it cemented her place in music history as more than just a Destiny's Child member. It showed her resilience, her commitment to her craft, and her ability to overcome past struggles. By owning her sound, Michelle proved that true artistry comes from staying true to yourself, no matter the challenges. Her solo career is a testament to her strength and her unyielding spirit, and it continues to inspire fans worldwide, changing the narrative and earning respect. Though often overlooked, Michelle has gained support from fans and defenders who finally recognize the challenges she faced and her resilience. Critics were harsh, but Michelle showed remarkable growth, mastering performances and carving out her legacy. Now, many see her as an icon and the unsung hero who bridged the gap in Destiny's Child. The narrative around Michelle is shifting as people appreciate the steep learning curve she overcame to perform alongside two artists who had been training since childhood. Her ability to adapt quickly and contribute vocally and emotionally to the group's success demands respect. Furthermore, Michelle's solo career in gospel music has strengthened her identity, allowing her to build a loyal fan base and prove her talent beyond the group's shadow. It's clear she didn't just fill a spot. She created a space for herself and inspired others to do the same. The harsh criticism aimed at her often seemed unfair, ignoring the pressures of stepping into an already famous group and the public's tendency to compare artists relentlessly. Today, Michelle Williams stands tall, embraced by fans who celebrate her perseverance and unique contributions. This change in perspective highlights the importance of looking beyond surface impressions and acknowledging every artist's journey. As Michelle continues to break barriers and redefine success, she earns the respect she long deserved, proving that resilience and authenticity can rewrite even the toughest narratives. The lasting impact and controversy. The debate continues over who truly stood out in Destiny's Child, Beyoncé and Kelly's star power, or Michelle's indispensable role. This discussion highlights the complex dynamics within the group and how fame can both create and obscure talent. Michelle's journey invites us to rethink what success really means behind the scenes. Often overshadowed by the explosive charisma of Beyoncé and the vocal prowess of Kelly, Michelle was seen as the quiet member, but she played a crucial role in harmonizing and bringing the songs together. Fans still argue about who is more essential to the group's identity, with some dismissing Michelle's contributions completely. However, many music experts and industry insiders now recognize that the trio wouldn't have had the same magic without her unique voice, especially in those unforgettable song bridges she owned. Controversy also surrounds how the group's management handled members, with accusations of favoritism and internal tension leading to the lineup changes that brought Michelle in. Despite the challenges, Michelle Williams carved out her own space, balancing commercial success with personal authenticity. She shifted the narrative by pursuing a gospel solo career, showing that success doesn't always mean following the biggest spotlight but finding your own path and connecting deeply with audiences. Today, Michelle's legacy is being reevaluated, with fans and fellow artists defending her and giving her long overdue recognition. This ongoing discussion about Destiny's Child reminds us that star power isn't just about who shines brightest on stage, but who holds everything together behind the scenes, keeping the whole act alive. And in that light, Michelle Williams might just be the true unsung hero of the group. Michelle Williams' story isn't just about being the third member of a famous group, it's about pushing through doubt and harsh scrutiny to find her own voice and redefine what it means to succeed. From walking into Destiny's Child amid internal drama to holding the group's signature sound together, she faced challenges that most fans never saw. Despite endless comparisons to Beyoncé and Kelly, Michelle carved out her own path, embracing gospel music and building a loyal audience beyond the spotlight. Her journey reveals the cost of fame and how resilience often hides behind the scenes. The public's writing often overlooked her contributions, yet she stood firm and transformed criticism into strength. As the Bridge Queen, Michelle made the trio's biggest hits complete, proving no Destiny's Child tour could happen without her. This story prompts us to rethink where real talent shines and how sometimes the hardest battles are fought out of the limelight. So, the next time you listen to their music, remember the unsung hero who bridged the gaps and made those songs unforgettable, and appreciate the complexity behind stardom that goes way beyond just being famous.